Welcome back, everyone, to what is part two of what is becoming a series about whether or not you can use an instant pot to sterilize grain to grow mushroom spawn. So this is, like I said, the second part in the series. I'll put a link up above somewhere to link to basically what was the intro video where I proposed, is this a good idea? And today we're going to go through the initial process of preparing the grain, getting it in the Instapot, letting the Instapot do its thing, and then letting them cool down. I'm not actually going to do the injection today. I'll save that for the next video or a future video. But I won't consider this experiment like finished and finalized until we actually have a jar that has really nicely grown mycelium without any contaminants. So if we can do that, great. So first, some caveats. Now, I'm not saying this, again, this is an experiment. I'm not saying that this is going to work. So if you've come here to this video, just keep in mind that this is all just an experimental series to see if I can make it happen. Traditionally, I've used your typical pressure cooker that is not an electric pressure cooker, one that gets up to 250 degrees at 15 pounds per square inch pressure. Instapot does not reach those temperatures and pressures, but it is higher than standard boiling. So we're going to give it a shot. Another caveat, this is the first time I'm ever really significantly using liquid culture, like in a serious way. I've experimented a little in the past, but this is my first time. It's also my first time using some of these fancy pants, reusable, self-healing, injectable tops. So that's a new thing I'll be using. And another new thing is, this is the first time I'll ever just be using millet. Historically, I've used bird seed with the sunflower seeds taken out. So it's kind of a mix of millet and sorghum and a bunch of other things. So doing just millet, I've heard, is really, really good. It's a grain that is local to me, locally available in bulk quantities, so I'll be trying that. But there's a lot of experimentation here. There's a lot of new technique here. So that is an important caveat. So in any case, let's get right to it. All right, so I have some water starting to boil on the stove that I'll be using to sort of par cook the millet. That is my plan. I'm going to boil it for about 10 to 15 minutes. I'm just going to kind of play it by ear and just get a feel for how much it's cooking, because I don't want to overcook it because it's going to cook a little bit probably in here too. Again, traditionally with bird seed in a regular pressure cooker, that's what happens. So you kind of do like a parboil situation. Also with bird seed, I usually only measure out about half amount of seed, because with the soaking of the water through boiling and through this, it tends to expand. So I'm going to do the same here. Again, that's usually with a mix of seed, not just millet. So we're going to have to play it by ear. If I end up with only a small amount of grain in each jar for this experiment, I think that's fine, because again, we're proving, this is all proof of concept. So anyway, here are my jars with the reusable lids, and I'll open up the Instapot. And you can see that there is enough room to fit comfortably 3 pint jars. These are wide mouth pint jars, which is typically the jar I use when I make grain spawn, so it works out perfectly. I have this little metal ring thing at the bottom because I don't know if it's safe to have the glass of the canning jars touch the bottom of the pan in the Instapot. I know that with regular pressure cookers, you can't have the jars directly touching the bottom because the heat from the burner will actually cause the jars to shatter. So you always had to put them on a rack. Again, I don't know if that applies to here, but I'm, safe, being safe rather than sorry. I went ahead and put just some metal thing on the bottom to keep them up off the bottom heat. So again, hopefully that'll work out. Now let's talk about how much water we need. So I'm going way off label when it comes to Instant Pot function. So it's hard to say how much water I'll need. My research has shown that it depends on the model, but it seems to be that the Instant Pot needs about 1 cup to 2 cups of water to build up to the right pressure, to the maximum pressure. So I'm going to go with 2 cups of water. If I find that it ends up making things a little too wet, a little too awful, then I'll adjust in the future. I have some concerns about these touching the side too, so I don't know what I'm going to do. Hopefully they won't melt. Look, again, this is an experiment. This may all crash and burn, but I will take you along for that journey. So I've gone ahead and dumped the millet into this. I didn't really measure out the water. I just need enough water to kind of make sure that there's enough for to soak up and keep boiling and keep cooking. Now, I've gone ahead and turned down the heat. I brought it to a boil, but I brought it now all the way down to low for more of a simmer temperature because I don't want to overcook the millet. That is a big no-no whenever you're preparing grain spawn jars, is people tend to overcook and their grains, and it ends up, again, just making a pasty mess in the jars, which just begs to be contaminated. So yeah, so I'm going to let this just sit here for 10 minutes. I'm going to then give it a check and let it simmer for 10 minutes, give it a check, and then possibly put it on for another, I don't know, 3 to 5 minutes, but we'll see how it goes. So I think I'm going to call the millet done for now. I ended up boiling it, not boiling it, but having it simmer for about 20 minutes. And I think it's at a good point. Now, historically, again, I've done, when I do bird seed, usually I just keep an eye on it. And when about 50% of the grains have cracked open, that's when I know it's done and I take it off the heat and drain it and do all the other, rinse it and all the other things. Now, I didn't necessarily see that with just the millet. At about the 20-minute mark, I noticed that some of the grains were breaking completely open and creating some mushiness, which is not good. Again, that's just asking for contamination. So that was, I was getting nervous. So I'm like, I'm going to take it off. So is this too cooked? Is it undercooked? I don't know. And again, I'll just note this in the experiment logs. And, you know, when this experiment succeeds or fails, you know, we'll be able to know perhaps some places where it went right or went wrong, and we can adjust accordingly if we need to redo the experiment. You know, the scientific method. So anyway, I did rinse this. I took it, after I took it off the heat, I strained it, and I actually ran it under cold water. I had it in a bowl, and I rinsed it a few times because as it cooks, it develops, like some of the starches break down, it gets slimy. Again, you don't want that slime. Again, that's just asking for contamination. So I rinse it all off and in a bowl, and whatever floats to the top, I strain off. And then I sieve the whole thing to get all the water out. And right now I'm just gonna let it dry sitting on this towel. I might spread it out a bit too. Now, I like rinsing it, again, to get rid of that starchy sliminess that is bad. It also, like I said, it gets rid of some of the dead matter or the too cooked matter. Basically, everything that floats to the top of the water you want to pour off. Now, I've talked about this in past videos about doing grain spawn jars, specifically with bird seed. So I'll put a link up above somewhere, maybe in the description too, just to that whole series or maybe to the video in question. Because I've talked about all that before, so I don't want to go into depth of detail. Feel free to ask questions below. So I'm going to let this dry out. I'm going to get it into the jars, and then we'll see what we can do with the pressure cooker. So I want to take a moment before I actually get the millet into the jars to show this little thing I've done. I've taken aluminum foil and I've shoved it down the sides so that these are nice and solid. Because I am scared to death about this plastic. I have no idea what kind of plastic this is. I ordered these from supposedly reputable mushroom growing establishment. But I don't know what plastic this is. And I'm not going to trust that it can take the heat of the side of the Instapot dish, pan, or whatever you want to call it. So I created a spacer so that the plastic will not touch the sides. And this aluminum foil is touching the glass, which I know, well, it should be able to handle the heat. So I don't know. We'll see. Again, all these jars could shatter. This plastic could melt, and then we're back to square one. But again, that's part of the experiment. And if this doesn't work out, I may have to go back to the traditional metal caps with a Tyvek filter, homemade filter. But I'm hoping these covers work out, because it would be nice to have a nice reusable, just fancy schmancy one. In any case, gonna let that millet dry, and we'll fill up some jars. Perfect. So the millet was rinsed, dried, and I got it distributed equally into the 3 jars. Now, I spoke earlier about wanting the grain to cook enough to about double in size. And it's anywhere from, you know, doubling to at least 75% more in terms of total volume. I usually just do double just to make sure, because, you know, you lose some millet in the process, you know, like if some spills out. So getting to about that doubling point is good. But anyway, I talk about that in past videos. Again, I have a whole series about doing grain jars. Don't want to focus on it too much, but I just wanted to let you know that I did end up with the perfect amount after cooking. Each jar is about 3/4 of the way full. So I have the water in here. I have the tinfoil spacer. Again, I'm going to get a basket at some point to hopefully make this easier. Now let's talk about the settings. Now again, I'm going way off label when it comes to the Instant Pot. And if you search sterilizing with the Instant Pot, you're going to get 1,000 articles from, people who want to sterilize, like, say, baby bottles and things of that nature, baby toys and things. So they suggest using the steam function. And I guess newer models of Instant Pot also have a sterilize function, which is basically just the steam function. But people use it explicitly to sterilize. Now, when they're talking about sterilizing, they're talking about creating steam and pressure in here. But as far as I understand it, the steam cycle only goes to a max of 10 minutes. 10 minutes, which is not enough. I would like to do at least an hour. So I'm not going to use the steam function / sterilize function on some models of the Instant Pot. I'm going to go ahead and use manual, crank this baby up. And honestly, at this point, I'm not sure how long to put it in. Again, it's an experiment. Now, if I was putting in a traditional pressure cooker, I would leave it on for 2 hours. So maybe I should let it run for 2 hours. Manual has a max time for 2 hours. I just don't necessarily want to go so long that I run this dry. So let's see what happens. I'm gonna see what I can put it in for, but I'll get it going and then we'll come back after it's finished. So I went ahead and decided to do 1 hour, 60 minutes in the Instant Pot as a first test run. After I get done with this, I'm immediately going to start a second round and just change the factors a little bit. I decided to go with 60 seconds because I didn't want to overcook the millet. That's definitely a concern, because if I turn this into mush while it's in the pressure cooker, then it's going to be a disaster. So again, I didn't want to overcook it, so I went for 60 minutes. So, we'll see. We'll see. I don't know if this will be a success, but this is why we're experimenting. Now, I have a problem with these lids, so this is a big issue. These actually came off or came loose inside the pressure cooker, so the changes in pressure, so I may not have screwed them on tightly enough. So I do have 3 more caps, and I've ordered 6 more, so I have enough for all dozen jars that I have, and I'm going to do a second round, and I'm going to screw these on tighter, because the problem is them coming loose. One, it's possible that contaminated air and mold spores got in here as soon as I opened the top of the Instant Pot, and also it looked like some moisture got in. Now the grain is fairly loose, which is good to see, but I see a lot of condensation and more moisture in there than I'd really like to. The grain doesn't seem too overcooked, so, I don't know. 20 minutes on the stove, an hour in the pressure cooker. All we can do is inject the jars and see how they grow. So that's it for this video, because I don't want this video to go too long. I'm going to go ahead and inject these. And in the next video, I'll probably talk about the different mushroom strains that I acquired, the liquid culture syringes that I acquired. And I may or may not include the actual injection. There won't be much to see. I'll just be sticking it in, squirting in 1 milliliter in each of these jars. So I may or may not include it in the next video, but in any case, if you're new to my channel, please be sure to subscribe, because you don't want to miss out on the ongoing series about this experiment. I'm going to be, like I said, I'm going to do another batch. I'm going to switch up some factors, and I will keep detailed notes and batch numbers so we can compare everything at the very end and see what gets contaminated, what doesn't, and what grows well. So in any case, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, please be sure to subscribe. Would love to hear your thoughts below in the comments. And as always, thank you for watching, and thank you for joining me on this journey.